Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to be president and will run for president in 2028. Now, that's what's been reported. Whether that's real or not, I don't know, but that's certainly what's been reported. Marjorie Taylor Greene is telling people that she wants to run for president. That is according to Notice and according to other folks who are out there reporting it. Now, I guess Marjorie Taylor Greene got wind of this when people asked her about it. Certainly, people were wondering, like, what is this pivot from Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was kind of the belle of the MAGA movement. She's the people that, if you ask, like, which woman in Washington, D.C., which representative or lawmaker represented MAGA the most, you would say Marjorie Taylor Greene. And now she has somehow pivoted to, all of a sudden, she is centrist and she's making sense and she's logical. Well, she got wind of it and was asked about it on a cable news show. Here it is.
There's a report out from Notice today saying that you want to run for president, that you're, quote, telling people that you want to run for president in 2028. Is that the case?
I actually blocked that reporter.
Okay.
Because he published an article that is baseless rumors, which is along the same lines that Laura Loomer spread. She said last week that I was going to announce I was running for governor on The View this week. And this is another baseless rumor. The only thing that I'm focused on is being a representative for my district.
Okay, so she is shooting those rumors down. However, people always say that, like, if they're running for, even if they want to run for president, my focus is on the people of Virginia. I'm just making up a state, right? And then all of a sudden, the Virginia governor's now running for president. You hear that all the time. So I don't know. Does Marjorie Taylor Greene have aspirations for higher office? I certainly believe that most congressmen and senators do. Most politicians do. AOC is out here telling people that she certainly does have aspirations for higher office, except AOC is saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene is on a revenge tour because she wants to be senator. Here is AOC.
Some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since.
Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene got wind of that too. And here she is responding.
What would you say to her? She says you're on a revenge tour right now.
It sounds like she's best friends with Laura Loomer, too, because that's the same thing Laura Loomer said, but it's not true. I put out a lengthy post back this summer about why I didn't want to run for Senate, and I see the Senate as basically where all good things go to die. I mean, look at the Senate right now. Because of the Senate, the gridlock in the Senate where no one can get anything accomplished, the government is shut down. And I'm a very serious person. I don't want to go serve somewhere where all of my good ideas and bills I want to work on get completely stopped in a system that I think is utter failure. And I explained that in length. The other problem with AOC is I think she's really jealous that I came into her home state, stomped around, and actually had a great conversation with the ladies on The View.
Okay, Marjorie, I doubt, really. I don't think the women of The View care any, not the women of The View. I don't think AOC cares any kind of way about what you're doing there. That's just my 2 cents. However, she's starting to sound sane and rational, which she didn't before. And again, people are wondering, what is the pivot here? What's gotten into Marjorie Taylor Greene? From people saying, maybe she has the right meds. Or is she angling for something? Is she angling for something? Because even on the election, Marjorie Taylor Greene is going against her own party. So something certainly happened from becoming the face or the maven of the MAGA movement to all of a sudden sounding like a woke Democrat, where people are asking, is Marjorie Taylor Greene woke? on the election results, she is saying, hey, look, we have an issue. This is what she posted on Twitter about the election results. If you don't understand yesterday's election results, here are the groups that Republicans have disenfranchised. And then she goes through a whole laundry list of things. He said, you can't meme, and I guess she's talking to the president, you can't meme and throw red meat rants and interviews and get your way out of this. The people are serious and only support action. They are done with words, and I completely agree with them. That sounds like that could be a tweet from someone who is in the Democratic Party. Not only is she tweeting about it, but she is out there on the news discussing it and addressing her leader, who is Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, directly in these interviews and calling him out. Here it is.
Historically, you would say, okay, Democrats have the upper hand going into this, but Republicans would be the ones handing Democrats the victory by not passing our agenda. And the fact that the House has been closed for 6 weeks now is a complete and total, utter failure. And that's on the Speaker of the House. While the rest of America is going to work every single day, you're going to work, people in this building are going to work. Mike Johnson is telling us to stay home and not do our jobs.
So what does Mike Johnson, like if you were to be able to talk to Mike Johnson right now, you would tell him what?
Tell him the same thing I told him last week, and I yelled at him on the phone on our GOP conference call.
What'd you say?
Where is our health care plan? It's non-existent. Democrats created this problem years ago, but Republicans have never fixed it. And I said we need to be back at work, and not being in session is basically pathetic.
What did he say to you?
He gave me the same talking points he gives to the press every single day.
Again, I mean, she sounds like a Democrat. She does not sound like a MAGA Republican, the folks who have been carrying water for Donald Trump for 10 years now. But so seriously, what is Marjorie? What is the angle here? How is all of a sudden she has become the voice of reason in the Republican Party, from MAGA to the voice of reason? Not only is she on News Nation, which is conservative, it's to the right, but she is on CNN slamming Republicans and leadership for the election. Here it is.
Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader Thune, and Vice President J.D. Vance, they all downplayed the election results, disputing that this is a broader wake-up call for your party. Are they wrong?
I don't think they should downplay it. I'm from Georgia, and we lost 2 very important public service commission seats that were statewide races in the state of Georgia. I think that should be a big wake-up call to my home state. We've got the entire slate coming up in 2026 with governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, and John Ossoff's Senate seat is up for election.
The only part where she sounds like herself is when she is talking smack about other people, where she's talking about reporters, and I had to block that reporter. That sounds like the old Marjorie Taylor Greene. But other than that, she is even talking about leading with kindness rather than the old hateful ways of yelling at Joe Biden while he's giving the State of the Union and saying nasty things about AOC as she passes her office and looks through the mail slot, and coming up with spouting conspiracy theories that were based on QAnon dribble. Now she's talking about leading with kindness on the CNN.
I talk to anyone that requests an interview with me. And here lately, that's
not
becoming
true. We request interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene all the time, and she doesn't even respond. Keep going.
Important to me. I'm very tired of the toxic nature of politics here in Washington, but also across the country. Families have been torn apart. People have gotten divorced. It separates parents from children. And so I'm trying to lead by example, and I can only do my part, and that is to talk to everyone and to talk to everyone in kindness. We don't all have to agree, but that's being an American. And thank goodness for that, right? But we have the freedom to do that, and our freedom of speech, our First Amendment rights, allows us to do that. And so my personal belief is, and I can only do it on my own, is that I need to set an example in the leadership role I am in by speaking nicely to everyone and sharing my viewpoints, but also listening to others.
And being available to talk about what's going on,
yes,
which is so important. We all believe in freedom of the press.
Okay, look, Marjorie Taylor Greene, let me say this. I've told you, I said this to you, Marjorie, I want to sit down with you. I want to interview you. I don't want to fight with you. You accused me of doing something that I did not do. I was there reporting a story, and I've requested an interview with you, and you've not. So everything that you're saying there, look, unless I get a response from you and I get an interview with you, but I have to say, I have to call bullshit on that because I don't want to fight with you. I requested an interview with you, and you haven't done it. So if you are, this person, you have to be the bigger person and you want to be kind and all those things, and sit down and do an interview. Let's talk. But this is not about me. You're talking about leading with kindness. I'm only saying that because those are your words that you said, lead with kindness. You talked, earlier you said, in this thing, you said that AOC was upset because you had a conversation with the women on The View. And you did have a conversation with the women on The View. And you said something very similar to what you said in the CNN interview. You said, I didn't come here to fight. And I used those very words with you. I don't want to have a fight with you. I didn't come here to fight. So how is it different when you say it than when someone else says it? Here she is on The View.
Do you think it's a good idea for the military to be marching into our cities and towns right now because maybe people don't like the speech that they're hearing? How do we combat that and get back to going after the people who really are the problems?
Well, on free speech, I want to say that I think that all of us right here are doing a great job of exchanging our ideas and things that we believe in, and we're doing it in a very professional and kind way. And in my opinion, I think we need more of that in America. I really do. And a lot of people wanted me to come on the show and say nasty things and all of us to fight. They wanted all of us to fight.
Thank you for not doing that.
Oh, my goodness, no. I didn't want to do that.
It's like 5 to 1.
She could handle it, but she didn't want to.
She could handle it.
No, I didn't want to do that today because I believe that people with powerful voices like myself and like you, and especially women to women, we need to pave a new path. This country, our beautiful country, our red, white, and blue flag is just being ripped to shreds, and I think it takes women of maturity to sew it back together.
Okay. Have you guys ever heard the old saying, I cannot hear what you say for the thunder that you are? Which means that your actions speak more loudly than your words, and they're more indicative of your true character. So if your true character is that, then you will do that. You will show that. And so far, I don't see that. Now, I am perfectly willing and open-minded to allow, in myself to understand, or the belief and the possibility that people can change, that people can somehow figure out what their better nature is and go towards that and lean towards that and lead with that. I'm perfectly willing to do that. But but not just from a week or two of interviews or you saying that you are a certain thing until you prove that you are that thing with your actions. You say that, it is incumbent upon us to be able to do all of these things, and we have to lead, and we have to do all of the things that you say. So when when I asked to interview you, I wanted to know, because you said that you wanted the Epstein files released. And that you were standing behind the people who wanted them released. What I wanted to know is that, are you talking to other Republicans? And what are you doing to convince them? Which is a legit question. But instead of answering that, you had vitriol. There's no vitriol I've never insulted you for anything until you treated me a certain way. Anyway, neither here nor there, but that just leads me to believe, I'm not sure if you are disingenuous or if you are honest with what you're saying. And the one thing that I found interesting is that somehow Marjorie Taylor Greene she's fed up with men on The View. That was one of the things that I found most fascinating about her interview on The View. Here it is.
People at home watching this show, they go to work every day. Ladies, you go to work every day, the people on your set, and it is an embarrassment to me that we're not in session.
And getting paid.
I'm not taking a paycheck.
Good for you.
Exactly.
I'm not taking a paycheck.
Exactly.
Good for you.
I think you're one of the only ones.
Well, like the air
I don't know the
controllers.
list. I think that should be a public list.
Yeah.
I think that's fair because our paychecks are taxpayer funded.
Correct.
However, I voted to fund the federal government on September 18th. I want all federal employees to be paid. I want all the programs to be funded. And I think that is our job, all of us together, Republicans and Democrats in the House and the Senate. And I'll look, I'm with women, so I feel very comfortable saying this. I'm really tired of the pissing contest in Washington, D.C. between the men. I really am.
Okay, I want to know what she means by that specifically. But I go back to what I said. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I cannot hear what you say for the thunder that you are. Actions speak louder than words, and they're more indicative of your true character. So let's see if this pivot is really a pivot, or if it is, like many politicians, self-serving because you're trying to see around the corner to the end of MAGA, which will come when there is no more Donald Trump in office. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.